Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am. Yes, you are. You are audible now.
So I welcome you, sir, in this FDP
Yes, ma'am.
on intelligent healthcare and medical system. I would like to take the privilege to welcome Dr. Rizwan Ahmed, sir. Dr. Rizwan Ahmed, sir, brings over 22 years of professional experience as a dynamic global technology executive known for innovation and hands-on leadership in various roles as entrepreneur, innovative and hands-on technology executive, digital product engineering specialist, agile coach, technology evangelist, and startup advisor. So has experience working with multiple Fortune 100 and Fortune 1000 enterprises, MSMEs and cutting-edge technology startups from across the globe in variety of industries, fintech, retail, healthcare, broadcast, supply chain, hospitality, edtech, energy, transportation, etc. Dr. Rizwan Ahmed sir is a Chief Technology Officer at Delapex. Dr. Rizwan has been part of Delapex founding team, which is driving force in growing the company from its inception in 2008. Sir has been involved in various social activities in the areas of education, healthcare, community upliftment, social justice, and social entrepreneurship. So volunteers for Nagpur First Foundation and many other causes, social organization and NGOs from India and abroad. Dr. Rizwan's contribution have achieved him recognition with 25 plus global technology awards, highlighting his significant impact in the field. So has bagged many awards like IT Technology Hero Award 2008 by Microsoft, Marcus Who is Who in the World 2016, Next 100 Future CIO 2017 Award, Most Innovative 100 CIOs, CTOs of India 2018, CTO of the Year 2019, Smart Innovator Award 2019, CIO of the Year 2019, Legendary Super CTO Award 2020, Superhero CIO 2020, Digital Transformation Leader 2020, and many more awards. So also work as a independent consultant for cybersecurity and digital and mobile forensic investigator for various private, government, and law enforcement agencies in India and abroad. Sir is regularly invited as a speaker at many national and international conferences, events, and panel discussion in India and abroad, and has delivered more than 450 plus talks so far, reaching more than 3 lakh people worldwide. Sir has been appointed as Distinguished Speaker of ACM, Association of Computing Machinery, New York, USA, where he is amongst very few chosen and accomplished technical speakers worldwide. Dr. Rizwan's work, achievements, articles, and interviews have been featured and quoted in a multitude of newspapers, television, radio, online media, and many languages, and featured in NDTV, Live India, All India Radio, Nagpur Today, The Hitvada, Lokmat Times, etc. So was awarded PhD in Computer Science and Engineering from Nagpur University on the topic of analysis and design of efficient generalized forensics framework for mobile devices. He is one of the first recipient of PhD in the field of mobile forensics in India. So we warmly welcome you, Dr. Rizwan Ahmed, sir. We warmly welcome you, and you actually are closely associated with Anjuman for many years, and we believe that you will be it will be a continuous process to be a valued part of our journey. I request you, sir, to proceed with the session.
Thank you, Professor Sadia, for generous, maybe telling about maybe background about me, right? I really appreciate that. I'm very excited to be here
Thank you,
presenting.
sir. Thank you. We are privileged, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Let me see if I'm able to share my screen.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, please confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Full screen, ma'am.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay.
Slideshow is not on.
Let me check. Okay, how about now?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, so maybe I'm on multiple screens. That's why I'm facing some challenges. Give me a moment. All right. So thank you so much for the generous introduction. I hope I'm still audible and you're able to see my screen just one more time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've been asked to be part of this FDP, which is on the topic of intelligent healthcare and medical system. This is a very relevant and pertinent topic considering how we are seeing evolution of certain emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, and more importantly, how it is helping us in developing healthcare and medical systems, which is helping us basically tackle many diseases, right? Which were not earlier diagnosable, right? Or maybe the treatment used to take time, or maybe the diagnosis used to take time, right? And that's we are seeing a big sea change. So I'll be doing two sessions. So today's session is going to be more focused around smart intelligent systems, which is going to be a generic overview considering what I'm seeing in the industry in terms of development of new intelligent systems or new emerging technologies around AI. And when I do a session tomorrow, I'll be dwelling upon development of intelligent systems, more specifically in the healthcare space. So already a lot has been discussed in my introduction, but a couple of things which I just wanted to highlight is as part of my journey so far in the IT industry, I have worked with many Fortune 100, Fortune 1000 enterprises, which are basically from healthcare background. And a lot of development and research work, what we have done is helping basically in bringing in transformation around a lot of care practitioners across the globe. So some of the things what we have done in terms of finding cure for certain diseases, right? In helping companies with drug discovery. Again, taking data from many hospitals, right? And maybe helping them identify which drug is efficiently working for certain critical diseases like HIV and other places. So we have developed that kind of platform. And more importantly, many innovative mobile apps, which helps the caregivers and practitioners access to the information on fingertips. And more importantly, it makes their job easier. So I've been fortunate to work with many professionals in this journey so far. And I'm going to be talking about some of those things as I go through my sessions today and tomorrow. So I generally want my sessions to be very interactive. And I know this is an online session. It's very difficult to know, right, how the engagement is, right, since we are doing this online. But just to keep things interactive, what I generally do is I ask many questions and I request all the audience to post answers to those questions in the chat window so that I know, right, how the audience is basically following along with me, right, in terms of this session which is being conducted online. So some of you might know, right, we are going through fourth industrial revolution. So in earlier editions of the industrial revolution, the first industrial revolution, we basically got rid of animal power and we could basically have locomotive engines and maybe other types of engines coming into play, right, and helping us go from one place to other place. And maybe a lot of things were transformed in a big way. Second industrial revolution was more towards manufacturing, wherein we could see big industrial revolution happening. A lot of assembly lines and those kind of innovative concepts came in, and that really helped us basically see a big transformation happening, especially the Western world, right? They kind of brought in a lot of changes, right, in terms of that second industrial revolution. Third industrial revolution, I believe, is something even I personally saw being part of computer and IT industry, and that's where India got benefited a lot, wherein we became the IT back office of the world, wherein we could provide basically product engineering, development, and consulting services right here from India across the globe. And that's where we have seen use of computer technology, internet, and maybe especially the new technologies like 3G, 4G coming into play, right, and helping us in a big way. But this fourth industrial revolution fundamentally is very different. If you don't know already about this industrial revolution, how it is going to be impacting all of us, there is a very famous paper which is written by a professor, Klaus Schwab. He's from World Economic Forum, and he's basically an authority in the field of basically monitoring what is happening as part of this fourth industrial revolution. And he has beautifully described how fourth industrial revolution is going to be impacting all of us. So there are fundamentally two things which we all need to remember, right? And I'm going to be talking about some of those things as I go forward in my session today. So the first thing which is very critical and what we are seeing these days, right, in the fourth industrial revolution is we are seeing extreme automation and connectivity. So there are two words here, right? And we all need to remember, right? And some of you might have already heard these terms being part of maybe earlier sessions as part of this FDP or early on. So we keep hearing this word automation everywhere. So what we are trying to do, right, last several years is we try to identify a pattern wherein certain things which are resource intensive and repetitive in nature, how we can make use of basically computer technology, or more specifically AI, and especially new emerging models which we have developed in last several years, which is going to help us basically automate those repetitive tasks so that anything which is repetitive in nature instead of a human doing, that is basically would be done by a machine in a better way, right? Better and efficient way. And that's what we are seeing in every industry. And second thing, why we are seeing this automation happening in a good way is we are seeing good connectivity, which was not earlier available to us. So in terms of 4G, 5G, and now we are hearing 6G is also coming. And that's where basically doing some of these things which was earlier not possible, because for doing automation, a lot of processing would happen in cloud. And we are seeing new innovative technologies coming in from the perspective of edge computing, but still a lot of things happens in cloud, and that's where the connectivity comes into play. And that's where this fourth industrial revolution, why it is happening now, is because of this connectivity aspect, which was earlier that was not available the way it is available now. And the second important characteristics what I'm seeing these days is cyber physical systems. So there are two words here. One is cyber and second is physical. So in a way, when we live in our day-to-day world, right, it is a physical world and we interact with many physical systems and we can directly touch and feel them. But a lot of things what we do online in the cyber world, right, there is some kind of cohesive interaction happening between cyber and physical worlds using new technologies which are making our experience more immersive in nature. So all the new technologies like AR, VR, and XR is helping us develop newer versions wherein we might be in the physical world, but we could basically cyber world, right, and experience a lot of things the way we experience in the physical system. So basically, if I need to give some examples, I can basically use a AR or XR headset, and using that headset, I could feel as if I'm at a particular location in the world or outside this world, and the feeling would be as such, right, as if I'm actually there. And slowly, we are seeing new systems which are being developed, wherein though I might be physically at any place, but the experience would be such that, like, all the people who are participating in certain activity, right, at a common place, they would basically see that happening as if it is in the same room. So imagine we conducting such session in future with the help of these cyber physical systems in future, wherein I'm delivering this session from my office or at your home or maybe your office location. But the feeling is as if we are all together in one room, as it happens in case of a offline or a physical session, as we generally see. And that's where a lot of AI and robotic systems are coming into play. And we are seeing these impacting all the industries. So especially in context of this FDP, we are seeing newer versions of caregiver robots which are being developed in the healthcare industry. So as an example, earlier, if you need to provide, say, suppose a nursing care to a patient, a human would provide that. But in mostly a lot of advanced hospitals in certain countries, they have replaced these caregivers, right, for maybe non-critical items with robots. So in a way, someone needs to take a pill. So instead of human going and giving that pill to them, there'll be a robot. If someone is requesting for maybe assistance, instead of a human going there, robot is going to come and give assistance to them. And I'm sure some of these case studies must have been discussed so far, right, in some of the earlier sessions of this FDP. So all in all, this fourth industrial revolution is impacting us in a big way. And one of the prime reasons is because of how these AI and robotic systems, which are providing us basically various means to do that. So just to keep the trivia going, I'll be sharing a photo of a gentleman. Anyone who knows who this person is, you can basically share the name of this person in the chat window and get the bragging right. So I'll give a minute to everyone to respond. And this is relevant to the topic, right, in terms of what I'm presenting today. In a way, the topic for me is intelligent systems. And he's someone who coined this term, right, in terms of what basically an intelligent system should be. So anyone who is able to answer, right, could get a bragging right, in terms of who the person is. And some of you who are intelligent maybe could also use maybe AI features like Google image reverse search, right, to maybe find out who the person is, or maybe use Google Lens on your phone, right, just to find out who that person is. So far, I'm not seeing any responses coming in. I hope the audience is engaged here, right? I know a lot of you are muted, but if you don't know the answer, my request would be, if you don't know the answer, simply say, I don't know it, or have given you a couple of hints, right, how you can find an answer, right, in a way, who the person is in this image. So I'll still give a minute to everyone. In a way, I'm just checking again. Am I audible? Can someone confirm from the organizing team? Just to make sure, right, I'm audible to everyone. Anyone from the Anjuman team?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for confirming. So I see the first answer. So let's give the bragging rights to the person who has answered this, Dr. Avni Vyas. Let's virtually clap for the person, and the answer what have got there is John McCarthy. So this is something which is the right answer. So kudos to you and the bragging rights. So as all of us know, right, John McCarthy is someone, right, who has been part of this industry for a while, and he is also attributed as the father of AI. And he coined this term, artificial intelligence, way back in 1956. So in context of this session, right, we all need to understand what definition of AI he wrote almost 7-8 decades back. And according to him, the definition of AI was the science and engineering of making intelligent machines and especially intelligent computer programs. Can you imagine someone thinking maybe so innovatively at that time, almost 8 decades back? Even the computers were in infancy at that time. In a way, we did not have the PCs as you see in a photo of John in this slide as well. So I'm sure you must have gone through a journey of maybe divisions of AI so far. I saw the schedule of the FDP, and there were some sessions which covered some of these topics, right? So generally, it's very important contextually to understand, right? At the highest level, we have the AI, and under them, right, we have certain sub branches or divisions like machine learning, deep learning, and more importantly, generative AI, right, which has basically transformed everything, right, in last several years, right? So early on, right, if we see, and as I was showing on the previous slide, AI has been in existence, right, for almost 7-8 decades now. And maybe there had been different ways how intelligent systems have been developed in last several decades. But in a way, the most potential use of AI has been accelerated in last 10 or 20 years if we see the overall AI journey, right? And one of the reasons why it was made possible is due to 3 or 4 top reasons. One is earlier we did not have access to computing power. In a way, the compute was limited to basically what I'm having on my own system. But now, with advent of cloud, we basically have unlimited compute power which is available to us. And especially if we talk about today's days, we have GPUs which are so fast, right? That okay, earlier if I need to do even a small model development, right, I was constrained with the physical infrastructure, IT infrastructure, and the compute power which was available on a particular system which was used to do the development. So that is one thing. And second thing we saw as a big change is, in a way, we have access to connectivity, as I said earlier. And using that, I can basically do the compute remotely in cloud, and maybe the results could be showcased on mobile devices like this, or maybe your computer screens or laptop screens, which was not possible earlier. And slowly we have seen this field evolve from, let's say, suppose machine learning algorithms, which could basically have learning capabilities, and they could automatically learn, and based on that learning they could help us predict certain things or do certain things better, right, from the automation perspective. But we could further revise it in terms of deep learning, wherein we tried to basically mimic our human brain, and we tried to develop neural networks, and now we have various types of deep learning models which are more human-like, and in terms of their memory and their processing power, right, is increasing day by day. And on top of that, right, what we are seeing in last few years, the generative AI models, right, especially the large language models, the way they have been developed, having deep learning, generative deep learning capabilities, is basically helping us look at our data in a better way, using that data, right, make better predictions or prescriptions. And more importantly, we are able to do even content generation, right? And maybe the training process, which was very cumbersome earlier with machine learning and deep learning, has become, in a way, very easier. And I'm sure some of the experts, right, already covered topics around deep learning and generative AI, and they must have talked about this. So I generally follow one of my gurus, and he is on the slide here. His name is Bill Gates. All of us know him as a founder of Microsoft. So when I was a student in engineering almost 25 plus years back, I always wanted to be like him, because he came up with a lot of innovative ideas. More importantly, idea of a personal computer with a GUI at that time, and maybe having a PC with Windows operating system, which is available to everyone, was something which was very unique. And that's something which always fascinated me, and I've been kind of following him for a while. So someone so accomplished, right? He's talking about generative AI is basically is having high potential to change the world in many ways. And a lot of things have been underutilized so far, according to him. And he's saying it has a power to create new ideas, products, services that will make our lives easier, more productive and more creative. And we're already seeing how generative AI is helping us create new content, possibly earlier, a lot of things which we need to do, right, on our own was not easy, right? So as an editor, if I need to edit a movie, it was very difficult. But now with the help of AI, right, I can basically get the editing done more quickly. Or maybe if I need to create a new video, that could be also easily created with help of generative AI. And he continues to say it has potential to solve some of the world's biggest problems, such as climate change, poverty, and disease. So you can see the topic of FDP, which is disease here, or maybe healthcare, is something he feels is something which can be solved using generative AI. And there are many projects which his foundation is running using the Gates Foundation. He's trying to help such causes, right? And he's making sure the generative AI is basically utilized for solving many problems. And that's where, if we see companies like OpenAI, they have generous support of Microsoft and they have invested in that company. And they use the OpenAI solutions, right, in everything what we see. So, as an example, being in the industry, we make use of solutions like Copilot. And from the advent of Copilot, the way we are seeing everything, right, early on, if I need to write code, the code needs to be written completely in a hand-coded way, right? You need to type everything. But what we are seeing now with technologies like Copilot, instead of writing code from scratch, if I tell a right prompt to my LLM model, basically it is going to write code for me. And it makes so easier that, okay, you can make it interactive. Certain things are also visual, right? And if you do right prompting, almost 40 to 70% of your code would be written by AI. That's the kind of change what we are seeing. And because of this, in the industry, one trend what I'm seeing is earlier, if you need 10 people to do something, now it could be done by 2 or 3 people. And we are developing basically AI native developers, and their job is to create solutions which are utilizing generative AI and AI, right, to maybe fast track the product engineering the way we are seeing it. Okay, another trivia. So I know I like asking the trivia questions. So I saw some more answers from previous questions, like Saima Ansari, Swarna Ganesh. They were also right. They provided the right answer. So another trivia question. I'm hoping a lot of you must be watching Hollywood movies, right? So here we have one of the Hollywood actors. Anyone who is going to tell us, right, who the gentleman in the photo is, would get the bragging rights. So if you know the answer, please go to the chat window, right, and type it for me, right, so that I know, right, you're following along. And anyone who gives the right answer, basically, they will be getting the bragging rights. Anyone in the audience, if you can use the chat window, please, to give the answer. If you don't know the answer, you can simply type no. But this is a very famous actor, and there is a big franchise, right? There are multiple movies which came in through him. So I see one answer from Salim Sharik sir, Robert Downey Jr. Yes, definitely this is his screen name. So he gets the bragging right. Then he is known as Iron Man, right? As we all know him, right? And the Iron Man franchise, right? As we see. But one more question, right? And I'm thanking Sujata as well. She also gets the bragging right. The typical question is, you see Iron Man is interacting with something in the photo. Do you know what it is called? If you know what it is called, right, you get another level of bragging right? What that system is called? There is a system which basically is developed by Iron Man, right? Okay, I see another answer in the group. So I don't know who it is, but it is saying Anjuman College Jarvis. So the person gets the bragging right. So Jarvis is the system which Iron Man developed, right? So that he could save the world. And more importantly, if you see, if you have seen the movie, right, this system also helps him monitor his suit, his whole body in a way, right, that he could just not do many actions what he's able to do as Iron Man, but at the same time carry out a lot of things, right? Using basically a reactor which is implanted or created by him, right? So some of you might know, but Jarvis is an acronym. So Jarvis also has some meaning. So anyone knows what the long form of Jarvis is? That's going to be the real answer, right? What I'm expecting from this group. So you have answered Iron Man, you have answered the system is called as Jarvis. But can you tell me what does Jarvis stands for? It is an acronym and there is a long form for Jarvis. Anyone in the group? Okay, so I see some answers coming in. Oh, Salim sir again answered another very good question. So it says just a rather very intelligent system. So can you believe even something which we are showcasing in a movie, right, would have a name like Jarvis? And more importantly, Jarvis is basically an acronym which stands for just a rather very intelligent system. So as you can see in the schematic also, it is helping him monitor, right, his reactor which is implanted in his body, right, whether it is working correctly or maybe if there are any issues with that, and maybe if there is a real reactor, right, he could also monitor that to power his maybe equipments which are fitted on his suit and things like that. So this highly advanced AI system was created by basically Iron Man to help him, right, do what he can do as a savior of the world. But some of you might not know, right? A similar system was developed by one of the technologies in the world, right? And he could develop it on his own, basically in few weeks of time. And what he did is he utilized many open source systems and created a version of Jarvis, right, which basically could do a lot of things which we saw in the Iron Man franchise. And I'm talking about the founder of Facebook and Meta. So all of you know whom I'm talking about, Mark Zuckerberg. So if you go and check it out online, you'll find a story about this. But why I'm giving this example is if you look at the maybe example of a intelligent system, this is one of the best examples. And we all can be inspired from such systems, and more importantly, we can develop such systems. And slowly we are seeing, right, some of these systems being already being developed and they're being utilized in different use cases. So if I continue, right, since I've been asked to talk about some of the new intelligent technologies which are being developed. So there is one organization which keeps tab of the new technology trends which come up every year. So here I'm talking about a company called as Gartner, and they basically do a lot of research every year to identify what are the top 10 strategic technology trends which are coming up every year. They also have something called as Gartner's Hype Cycle, wherein they showcase if there is a new technology which just came in. So in a way, when that technology is just in nascent stage, and basically when it is going to mature and go on top, and then there is going to be a phase wherein that slowly the technology is going to be phased out. So we must have seen several technologies go through that cycle early on. So idea to showcase this technology trend is to find out what is more relevant, right, in that particular year or in that next phase of next 2 to 5 years, right, wherein we can, as researchers or practitioners in these areas, right, adopt those technologies, build skills on those technologies, and basically develop certain innovative solutions which is going to help us solve some real world problems. So if you look at their list, right, so they are talking about AI and maybe in a big way in 2025, right, AI term of agentic AI, which is going to be coming up in a big way. So I'm not sure if some of this is already covered in the previous sessions, but in rest of my slides, I'm going to be talking about the concept of agentic AI, why it is important, right, and how we are seeing this being utilized in multiple industries, including healthcare. And more importantly, the focus of my session is going to be around how to build some of the agentic AI solutions. And I'm going to be practically showing you some examples and giving you resources so that you can do it on your own. So that's one of the top trends, and that's why I'm focusing on building autonomous agent AI systems, right, which could make our job very easier, right, from the perspective of automation. But if you see the slide, there are other areas wherein we are also seeing some issues as well. So one of the biggest challenges is around AI governance. So some of you must have heard term like singularity, wherein what happens is there is a fear amongst humans that what if these AI systems become more powerful and independent and they don't take our command and they basically go against us, as we have seen in many Hollywood movies. So what we should be doing, right, so that that doesn't happen, because we have seen many instances wherein some of the AI projects have gone rogue and we could basically not control, right, what's happening, or we are not able to interpret. As an example, in one project, one such project at Meta, in a way, AI came up with its own communication language, wherein what is written or being exchanged, right, between, say, some bots, AI bots, could not be understood by humans. So company like Meta was forced to shut down the whole system so that they don't allow these bots to do something which could be harmful to human race. And that's where areas of AI governance come into play, or areas like AI ethics and responsible AI comes into play. And it becomes very imperative that we put safeguards. And especially if you look at the topic of this FDP, which is around healthcare, where we are dealing with human lives, it is very, very critical that we basically put certain governance in place so that these robotic systems or AI systems don't inadvertently harm humans. Because we have seen many examples wherein these systems have started harming humans, right? Or maybe if you use the system, indirectly we get harmed because of these systems. If I need to give an example, we all have heard about autonomous cars. So these cars could drive on their own. But it has been found in some cases, right, these cars could not prevent certain accidents from happening, and there was loss of maybe human lives as well. So in case where we are developing AI systems for healthcare, this is one of the prime things we need to keep in mind. And if we don't put governance or responsible AI or ethics in place, this could cause a lot of issues to us. And similarly, there are other trends like disinformation security, wherein we are basically spreading fake news, right? Or maybe other areas, right, which is like content which is AI generated, right? So videos or audio which is not real, but it is created using AI, right, and which could be misused for carrying out phishing attacks or maybe cyber crimes in a big way, which we are already seeing happening. And that's where the big trends are. And again, there are many more things like post-quantum cryptography and maybe special computing, right, wherein we have human-machine synergy, right, polyfunctional robots, which is again relevant to the topic of healthcare, right, and more importantly, neurological enhancements. So some of you might have heard there is a company called as Neuralink of maybe very famous businessman Elon Musk, right? So he owns this company, right? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a chip which could be implanted in a human head, right? And maybe using that chip, we can solve many diseases. And some of these diseases could be wherein I am not able to give command to my brain to move my hands, right? And maybe I am having some issues, right, wherein my brain is not functioning properly. And using that chip, basically, a lot of those issues, right, which wherein someone is immobile or they are not able to control certain things, that could be changed. But at the same time, flip side of that is there is a fear, right? If such chips could be implanted, right, maybe in brain of a soldier, right, and that brain could be controlled using chip to carry out certain misdeeds. So that's going to be another challenge. But a lot of trends to follow. But more importantly, I'm going to be focusing on the top two trends which are mentioned here. First one being agentic AI, and second being around AI governance and responsible AI use cases. So a lot of you might be having question what basically agentic AI could be, right? So as I said early on, right, if you look at John McCarthy's definition also, we have been pursuing the field of AI for almost 7-8 decades. And the whole idea has been how we can replicate human intelligence and maybe what as humans we can do, right? And how our brain functions. Same thing could be basically replicated in the intelligent systems, intelligent software, intelligent programs which we are able to create. And in this pursuit, I feel, see, one of the most recent innovations of agentic AI is basically going to transform everything around us, because we are able to create multi-agentic solutions, like how our brain could think multiple things together. So I'm talking, I'm able to move my hand, I'm able to do a lot of things, right? And my brain is able to do all that simultaneously. So same thing is going to happen with these AI agents, wherein these AI agents are going to be artificial intelligence entities, which are programmed in a way, right? They have their own sensing power, thinking power, and they are able to basically look at things around them, right? See what's happening in their environment, and based on the input what they get from their environment, they can make a lot of intelligent decisions and take actions. So as humans, we are able to look at our environment and maybe make certain decisions or take actions. That is what is something which is coming up in a big way. So as an example, if I'm developing an agentic AI system to help maybe a doctor who is a surgeon, and he's using basically a robot to perform a surgery better, right? So this assisted system is going to give the doctor, right, a lot of insights in a way, right, that okay, if we know the patient condition from, say, suppose an MRI, and if I need to perform a surgery and remove a tumor from a body, right, and the tumor size is already known, so the AI system, the agentic AI system would tell the surgeon that, okay, what should be the size of incision when they're cutting the body, and when they need to remove that basically the cancerous part from the body, how they should be performing that procedure with precision, so that there is no harm to the other healthy parts of the body. And this is something which was early on not possible, because we did not have the right kind of sensors or maybe agentic AI capabilities, right, which are now available, which could help you do a lot of things in real time. And especially, we are also utilizing certain AR, VR, XR technologies, right, in conjunction with AI agents, right, so that could be done. But if I talk about some other real world examples, these AI agents basically are being utilized in all the industries, right? So if you go to a hotel now, so some of the hotels for which we have developed a solution, and if you make a call to reception, instead of maybe the call going to a human, it is answered by an AI agent, and it is basically going to help you answer anything what you need. So if you're calling for, say, suppose a room service, you need a towel or maybe or some amenity in your room, it basically would take that order for you, right, and maybe deliver it to your room, either through a human or maybe through a robot. And that's where some of these systems are being utilized, right, in different areas, and they're becoming more and more mainstream. And I'm going to be showing you some examples as we go forward. Even you can develop a personal assistant for you, right, to do lot many things for you. So in a way, if you need to fill, say, suppose your own timesheets for your work, what you're doing, you can have an AI agent do that for you. If you need to fill certain reports, right, which needs to be done at a particular time of the day, right, so those reports can be filled on your behalf. And I can go on. If you need to book a ticket, the AI agent would do the ticket booking for you, right, with your instruction. And maybe all in all, right, some of you, this is for a future session like this, you have been forced to join a session like this. There is an AI agent available wherein it would take your photo, and if you need to be on a cam, right, or you need to talk, it's going to use that audio video sample, right, and it's going to behave as if you are part of that session live, right, and you're not there. That agent is basically attending a meeting on your behalf. And there is a company who created a solution like this, right? Imagine if someone doesn't want to be joining such sessions, right, and they just want to do a proxy. That's where this agentic AI system is going. So I'll take a pause here just to see, right? Are there any questions by audience? Am I going too slow, too fast? If there are any questions so far, right, maybe you can type it in the chat window. If anyone has any questions based on what I've said so far. So if you have questions, you can type in the chat window. If you see, there is a link on this slide, and this link is basically a gold mine of all the research paper, and they generally are from last 5 years or so, wherein how LLM and AI agents are being created, and you'll find a complete research paper, in most cases the complete code for those agentic AI solutions, and or maybe some kind of a demo link wherein you can go and actually see how these things work in action. So very useful link for people since you all from academia, and I'm sure some of you must be doing your masters or PhD or doing regular research. So this link which I'm showcasing here, right, it contains all the recent papers around the realm of LLM and agentic AI, right? And I'm sure this is a gold mine, right? And a lot of you might find it valuable. So I don't see any questions coming in. So in interest of time, I'll continue. Okay, so some of you must have heard the term called as API. Have you heard this term? What does API stands for? If you know the answer, please type it in the chat. Can you type what API stands for and get the bragging rights? Okay, so I see an answer called as Academic Performance Index. Okay, yeah, that could be right, but this is not the answer in this context. Anyone who wants to try? So I see a couple of answers, Dr. Avni Vyas one more time and Dr. Sadia, Dr. Professor Iram, all of them have given right answer. So APIs, right, Application Programming Interface. So as you all know, we use a lot of APIs, right? So if I need to integrate two systems and maybe make them talk, we create some kind of APIs. So in a way, I can have some system send data to me using an API, or I can receive some data, right, from the other system using the API, right? So I can do that interaction and integration. But slowly, it's a prediction, and people say 2025 is going to be a year wherein slowly the way APIs have evolved over a period of time are going to be going out of vogue, because every system what we develop has a lot of APIs these days. So it is being predicted, right, with advent of agentic AI, a lot of these APIs would go away and we'll be creating a lot of agents. And these agents would be built in an autonomous way, wherein these agents would have processes and elements and compute and processing power in a way, right? We can interface more intelligently with different systems together, and there won't be any need of APIs. And we'll see that as we slowly go forward. So thanks for all the answers. I see Sujata, Nikita, Uday, Naveed, Zishan, right? All the professors and all the attendees here, right? They have given all the right answer. So thanks for being responsive here. So again, I'll slowly talk about how this is going to happen. So some of you, if you have not started your agentic AI journey, so this slide basically gives you that 11-step formula, right? What you should be doing, right? If you want to be building agentic AI solutions. So the first step, as you can see here, is, and the credits are given to the person who created the schematic, right? In the slide itself. So the first step is introduction to agentic AI. So here, in a way, we need to understand, right, why we need to do autonomous decision making, right? Why automation or agentic AI systems are important. What is the difference between traditional AI models or AI systems and AI agents? That is something we need to understand. Again, how we should be looking at developing certain core capabilities and functions in these agents, and what are some of the use cases of these agentic AI. So as an example, when I'm conducting this session today and tomorrow, you'll see some of the real world use cases of what agentic AI is, right? And some of the high level introduction which is there. Plus, I'm going to be sharing some more resources, right, as part of this session, so that you could basically use those links and references, right, and maybe get the better exposure. Once we have the introduction of agentic AI, the second thing which is very important is understanding AI and ML from the fundamentals perspective. So as you all know, right, most of the AI models as well as agentic AI frameworks, right, they are built using some or the other programming languages. So Python is one of the top programming languages which is used, and there are other programming languages as well. But some of the agentic AI frameworks are also providing you features, and I'm going to be showing you in a while, wherein you can do the agent development visually. In a way, you don't need to understand the coding, and maybe you can do certain things with drag and drop, right? And basically, you can develop the agentic framework. But if you want to do something custom on your own, you definitely need to write the code. And that's where some of these methods would come into play, wherein you can understand what are the different ML and deep learning models which are there, right? When to use which kind of model, right? So that your agent could perform better. Third is you use programming and various AI frameworks. That's where you have examples like LangChain, AutoGen, and Creve AI, and there's some more, right? As I go forward, right, wherein we use certain agentic AI frameworks for developing our AI agents. And whenever we develop an AI agent, in step 4, we need to tie it to some of the large language models. So I'm going to be showcasing you in future slides, right, wherein you can use any publicly available large language model, right, and integrate that with your AI agent to get the better results, right? Because we should not be focusing on developing our own LLM. Idea should be leveraging a pre-trained LLM which is already out there. So that is step 4. And step 5 is, in a way, how we can develop the agentic architecture. And more importantly, one of the challenges what we are seeing is when you have multiple agents who need to collaborate, right? So you start with first agent, it needs to do a handover to the next agent, right? And the collaboration and orchestration needs to happen. So that happens at the step 5. Step 6 is more around AI memory and knowledge retrieval, because if you need to mimic the human brain, right, your agents should have memory of their own. And I'm going to be showing you a few examples in some of the frameworks, right, how they have developed memory of these agents, so that if I've had some conversation with these agents in past, the agent is going to remember that conversation from the past, maybe basically give me answers from that. Then decision making. More importantly, most of these agents, since we utilize LLM, you need to understand how prompt engineering works. And this is something which is very important, because if you want to leverage your agentic framework and AI agents properly, and maybe leverage your LLM, you need to understand, right, how chain of thought or maybe sleep reasoning and maybe that kind of uh, adoption technique from the memory perspective needs to be applied. So that is going to come there. And slowly we go into more advanced topics like reinforcement learning, self-improvement, wherein the agent is able to learn on its own. So we have seen many systems, right, which can basically go and crawl the web, and maybe they can learn a lot of things on their own, right? And technologies like RAG, I'm sure this must be discussed in previous sessions. And then deploying the agents in the real world. So how we can deploy them in cloud and maybe basically optimize them, right, in different way, right, so that there is no latency, right, and we get the best agent performance. And finally, developing some real world AI agents for solving problems. So that's where the focus is, and I'm going to be showing you some examples as I go forward. So I'll take a pause again just to see if there are any questions, right? So are there any questions on the roadmap or agentic AI learning process? If there are no questions, you can simply say no. But if there are any questions, right, you can type it in the chat window, right? So that in interest of time, right, I'm able to basically make sure I'm answering some of those questions. So thank you, Dr. Bilal. So I understand so far things look to be good. So I'll continue to the next slide. So there are many frameworks which are available to develop agentic AI solution. So one of the such framework is called as Camunda. So if you have not heard about Camunda, I highly request you to go and check this link which is on this slide. And we as a company are Camunda partners in full transparency. And we have developed many AI and agentic process orchestration solution utilizing Camunda. And this is done in many industries. So one such example, if I need to give, is in supply chain industry. So some of you must have heard the term of maybe having autonomous warehouses, or maybe these days we hear the term like, okay, black factories, wherein there are no humans in the warehouse or maybe in the manufacturing floor. The complete activity is by basically intelligent systems and robotic systems and AI-based systems, right? So right from when you receive an order, the order getting picked from your warehouse to it getting packed and maybe shipped, everything is done by robots. And for developing that kind of systems, right, we use frameworks like Camunda. So if you see this slide, this basically shows a process wherein, as an AI agent, if as a traveler, I have basically lost the luggage during my air travel. So instead of doing query or maybe my request of tracing the lost luggage, instead of going it to human, or maybe I need to go through maybe a support call to a human, we have developed a agentic system, right, which is basically going to help you track your bag. So as a passenger on the left, as you can see, right, I can raise a request of report lost baggage. And this, as soon as this is triggered, the AI agent receives an input, right? That okay, there is a passenger who is reporting a baggage. So as soon as that happens, the first processing which happens is you check your query. You might be having some certain baggage are being tracked in your airline, right? That okay, already lost. You have a process invocation happening, and your agent goes and check your internal system and see if to track that lost baggage in that tracking system. So if it is there, it can find out which is the last known airport, right? And based on that, it tells you, right, okay, your baggage is at this airport. And if it is the last destination, the person can go and collect it. Otherwise, they basically tell that user that, okay, the baggage is going to be delivered to you, right, after 2 days, 3 days, and things like that. So earlier, this complete process, and I'm telling you, it's a very horrific experience of losing baggage. It has happened with me once, wherein I got my baggage after 15 days, and that was a travel in place like Canada. So, I mean, the whole experience of waiting for your luggage to come for 15 days, calling humans was very unfriendly, and something like this AI agent, which is helping us very quickly, is something which is very important. Again, if you see here, right, they have an action of sending a voucher for personal care products. So this has happened with me, right, wherein I got a voucher because I did not have anything with me, right, when the luggage was lost. So some of the things which were done manually by a human now basically are done by the agentic system. Again, there is a process of compensation. So once the claim is received, in my case, there was a claim of $1,200, right? Because I lost a lot of things as part of the package, right? Someone removed something from that package. So again, when I filed the claim, it took more than 1.5 months to basically get that claim settled and maybe that claim coming to my account. But using this agentic process orchestration, what I've shown here, and Camunda framework, now one of the airlines is able to solve such issues, right, within matter of seconds or minutes, instead of early on it used to be a matter of few weeks or months, and that used to be a very bad experience, right, for the passengers who are flying, right. So if you want to understand how this agentic process orchestration work in Camunda, I highly recommend you to go and check this link. So this has very detailed steps, right, in terms of how this whole process works. Just for your benefit, Camunda has two types of versions. So first version is basically in a way licensed version, and second version is community edition. So in community edition, right, you get a license which is completely free to use. You don't need to pay anything to Camunda, and you can utilize it for your own personal use or research or anything like that. So the workflow what I'm showing here, this is something which can be even developed in the community edition. So here is another example. So if you see that one traveling through various boxes. So here, this is another agentic framework, right, which is used, the Camunda framework, which is used basically to find out if a particular user is submitting maybe tax information or finance information on a portal, and whether that details which are submitted by that person include some fraudulent information. So early on, this process needs to be done manually by a human, that they'll look into the documents which are being shared, right, and they'll try and see, right, if that document is fraudulent. But here, if you see how that number one is traveling through different processing boxes, right, so you start, right, by submitting the detail. As soon as the details are submitted, it tries to check if there is a fraud. If it is a fraud, right, you basically send a general inquiry. Otherwise, if fraud is not detected, right, so you basically decide on the fraud is not there. But if there is a fraud, you basically inform, right, people in the value chain, right, that there is a fraud which is detected. And in case if there are more details which needs to be collected from the user, even the complete process of sending the email, collecting all the stuff, right? It happens automatically. So early on, this process used to be human intensive. Now, this whole process, how you basically say, suppose approve a loan, or if someone is applying for maybe some kind of visa, and maybe I need to make sure the documents are not submitted are not fraudulent. The whole system could be developed using this agentic AI process. So if you go to this link again, you'll basically see the whole process, right? How this could be done, right? With the relevant steps. And on this next slide, here, basically using the community edition, the way I was just describing early on, right? You have a complete a video, right, wherein the step-by-step guide is showcased, right, in a way how you can develop the agentic AI solution, which I was showcasing you, right, few minutes back, right, in terms of stepwise applying the logic, right, and maybe making sure all those steps are actually happening. So this is completely showcased. This is almost a 29-minute video, and it is basically showcasing all the steps which are out there. So I know I have limited time. So what I'm trying to do is I am trying to showcase you some things in action. At the same time, I'm giving you certain references, right, using which you can basically do all the stuff on your own. So this is the ID, Camunda ID, wherein I can basically use something called as a BPNN workflow. So again, once you go through this video, right, you'll see some of these terms being described in a good way, how you create certain variables, right? If I need to send an email, right, I don't need to write code, right? There are certain custom fields which I can create, right? And using that, this whole workflow could be created in a matter of minutes. And you can go live with this kind of solution. So early on, if I need to develop a solution like this and hand code it, it might take weeks. Now, it could be done in a matter of few minutes, and the agent could be running very quickly. Okay, so I'm just skipping through that video just in interest of time, but I'm going to be giving you more examples, right? So that in a way, using these agentic frameworks, right, you can develop your own agents, right? And maybe create some real world use cases, right, where these agents could be deployed. So I have covered one such framework. It's called as Camunda. We use it extensively. It's one of the mature frameworks. It is utilized in multiple industries already. Another such framework, I'm sure, if you have not already heard about, is called as Leta. And this Leta framework is something, right, which is, in a way, it was one of the first frameworks to utilize LLMs, wherein you can have agents which could have their own advanced memory to store some of the old conversations which you might have had, right, with the agent in past. And more importantly, these agents could learn and adapt and improve over time so that they can provide you personalization. So this is again one of the good agentic AI frameworks. And one of the best part about Leta is it's completely open source and it is built for developers. So if you like writing code, this is the framework for you. So if you see a link here, I've shared a GitHub link. If you go to this GitHub repo, you'll basically find everything about Leta here. Right? So I'll quickly run this video and see if you all are able to.
Hey there, I'm Charles, the CEO of Leta and creator of
glimpse.
GPT.
It's just a 2-minute
Leta makes
video.
it easy to build agents with persistent memory and advanced reasoning using any model you want, both open and closed. You can build agents with Leta using our agent development environment, or ADE. All right, so first I'm going to create an agent with the ADE. The server is configured with OpenAI, but you can.
So you can see this is the simple visual maybe ID wherein you can create a new agent, give it a name, right? What kind of memory it should use, right? And more importantly, what model you want to use. So it is already integrated with many LLM models which are available publicly. So that is another area, right? I mean, which is very easy for you.
Other model provider like Anthropic or even open source models like Llama 3. You can customize the starter data for the agent's memory. This defines the agent's persona. You can also customize the personalization information for the user. All right, now we have a running agent. So let's message it. You can see that the agent is streaming inner thoughts. This is similar to the OpenAI's new models like O1 that can think for an extended period of time before they act, which helps the agent have more advanced reasoning capabilities. On the left side, you can see the memories of the agent, both the core memory.
So can you see it within a matter of few milliseconds, right? The agent was ready, right? And it is ready to answer any questions you may have, or maybe you can create it with a persona, right? What problem you are trying to solve. So it's becoming that easy, right? If I need to create a new innovative solution, right? To maybe solve any business problem which is out there.
Which are in context, and archival, which are out of context, as well as the tools that the agent has access to. The tools include both memory tools and the default Letta tools. You can always add your own custom tools to agents. Letta agents are special because they can learn and adapt over time, thanks to their memories. Let's message the agent with a correction about our name and see what happens. You can see here how the agent used the memory tool to update its own memory.
So as I was telling earlier, right, these agents have their own memory. So here you can very easily prompt the agent to basically change something, right? So early on, say suppose my name was something else, right? And maybe I want to change my name to Charles now. So I don't need to tell the agent to do that automatically through my conversation. The agent who is going to act on that, right, and change my name in all the records, so that next time when I'm interacting, right, the system already knows it's going to be Charles as a person.
Like the name implies, the ADE is a development environment. So the agent you create here is intended to be a backend service to your application. You can use these toggles to see what is exposed to your end user. You can also control the starter message that triggers an agent to run. Since this agent lives on a server, you can also message the agent from outside the ADE using the agent's unique ID. So let's go to the terminal and send a message to the agent. So we see that the message also showed up on the ADE, since the ADE.
So he simply asked, right, what do you think I should do to the agent? And agent is basically able to maybe respond to his request, right? In a way, the person might, the agent might know, right, details about that person in terms of like, okay, I like watching Formula races, right? So in a way, the agent could suggest me to go and watch a Formula One race which is happening, right? Or maybe if I like a particular restaurant, right, which is there, which I like, so it's going to be suggesting me, right, okay, you like Taste of Himalayas, right? You could go and maybe enjoy there. So that's how the memory is going to be used to do personalization, as we are seeing in most of these agents. So please go and check this GitHub link. There is a lot more information here. And this ADE, right, the agentic development environment, right, which is showcased in this video, right, it is much more powerful, right? I can only show few things in 2-3 minutes here. So I'll continue with the next framework. So some of you might have already heard about Anthropic, right? So Anthropic is again one of the systems which could be basically used to build very powerful agents, especially multi-agent systems. And they have written a very beautiful blog, right, in terms of what the steps are, right? And maybe when I'm trying to developing agentic AI system, right, what steps I should be following, right, so that I'm making sure, right, that my architecture is correct, and more importantly, in a way, the business use case what I'm trying to solve, right, that could be properly addressed. And more importantly, like the previous agentic framework, even Anthropic has option wherein you can basically use multiple pre-trained LLM models, right, which are already there, right, which could be utilized. Or maybe depending upon my use case, I could use multiple pre-trained LLMs as well, right? So this is what is, very beautiful about this blog. So there is a blog as well as this video, right? If I show you this video, right, it is about
a developer building
almost
agentic systems. This
28
is a
minutes.
must-read
But
blog post from Anthropic.
in this video,
There is a lot of
the person has completely explained, right, all the various sections of the blog in a very beautiful way, right, in terms of what are the various steps, how we should do it, and things like that. So in a way, a lot of good information in terms of how some of these things should be done, right, over a period of time, right, in terms of developing your agentic system.
Well defined, well in
In a
advance.
way,
And most of the
one
systems that
word of caution, right, uh, which the creator of this video also gave and which applies to all of us. It's not necessary that you should apply agentic AI in every solution or every problem which we come across. We should always look at what problem I'm solving and if creating an agentic AI solution is going to be good for that problem. Because one challenge what we are seeing these days is, since we work for maybe many companies, right, and this agentic AI as a word, right, has become mainstream. We come across a lot of CIOs or CTOs or IT heads saying that, okay, why don't we develop an agent for this? And again, this could be a overkill in some cases. So in certain scenarios, we can go with the traditional rule-based engines also, right, which could still help us solve the problem, right, and not require a lot of compute and other IT infrastructure, which might be required when we create agentic system. So very beautiful explanation which is given, right, in terms of the whole block, how we should be doing everything, right. And again, I was explaining, right, when and when not to use agents. That is also explained, right, by Anthropic, right. And similarly, if I go forward, right, they talk about what's the typical architecture, right, what kind of frameworks I can use, right, LangChain, right, or maybe Bedrock, Rivet, right, William. All of these are like maybe different frameworks which are there, right, and maybe all of these could be utilized. So I know I have limited time today, so I'm just going to be covering some of these things at very high level, right. But if you go through this video and maybe this blog link, right, you'll see all the things what I'm talking about, right. So in a way, there is a lot of good information in this video which could be utilized to develop your own agentic framework. So I'm skipping through a lot of things just to understand, right, maybe make you understand some of the concepts at high level. So in this section of the video, you'll get to understand how orchestration works, right. So in a way, you have concept of chaining, wherein to get something done, I may need to make multiple LLM calls. And at the same time, depending upon what responses I'm getting from each call, I should be able to orchestrate certain things or get the certain outcome. So that is something, again, which is explained in a good way in most cases here. So all in all, right, this is very good information in terms of using Anthropic and maybe how to build, right, a lot of open-ended agentic AI systems, right. And this is something which is explained in a very, very intuitive way. And the best part is here you also will see also some of the code examples, which is going to be something which is going to be very easy for you to build, right, on your own, right, which is what is showcased here in the ID as well. Okay, so I'll again take a pause here. So okay, so I'll request all the attendees if you have any questions, so that in a way I'm just coming towards maybe there are only last few slides remaining, and then I'm coming towards the end, so I can try and answer most of these questions towards the end, right? So I see one question from Professor Syed Rehan, right? So I'll come back to that question, right? In a way towards the end. But request to all the participants, if you have any questions, observations, right, anything which you want to discuss, please use the chat window, right, so that I can use the time, right, towards the end to answer those things. Okay, so we have talked about Anthropic. Similarly, there is one more very good agentic AI framework called as N8N. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but if not, this is one of the super easy frameworks which could be used to develop agentic AI solutions in completely visual way. You don't need to understand the code. Even if you don't know how to write code, you can develop your own agent on your own. So in a way, if you go to this link, n8n.io/AI agents, you'll see many examples, right, of building AI agents, right, from scratch. And more importantly, doing those through the interface which is provided by N8N in a visual way is very simple. And again, I must clarify, N8N has two versions. One version is a paid version wherein licensing cost is involved, but they also have a community version which is completely free. And what you could do is you can basically download that version and set it up on your own system, right? And configure it in a way, the way you want to use it. Definitely, there are some features which are missing from the pro or paid version in the community version. But let me tell you, even the features which are there in community version could be used to solve many agentic AI problems, right? Without maybe paying a penny to N8N, right? And maybe solve many real world problems. So if you see this particular video, right? This video is about
By the end of
50 minutes, right? And this gives you many steps in a way as a beginner. If I need to develop an AI agent inside N8N, how I should be doing. And another suggestion is if you see the person who has created this video, even he has multiple such videos, right, around other agentic AI frameworks. So my advice to you would be, in a way, watch this video, but at the same time, try to maybe follow him and maybe watch his other courses and videos, right, around agentic AI framework. So I know I have very limited time, so I'm just trying to basically skip through some of this, right, and maybe show you certain things at high level, right, and maybe do it in a way, right, you could possibly use your time later on, right, and maybe build these AI agents on your own. So if you see this section of the video, basically when you try to build a AI agent solution, right, using N8N, you have many visual components which could be utilized. So here is an example of a trigger node, wherein if something happens, I can basically trigger something to my third-party integrated system. And the best part is N8N has already integration with more than thousands of systems. So in a way, in the real world, right, if you need to do something, right, and you need an integration with third-party system, you don't need to write anything. The integration is already there. You just need to leverage that. As an example, if I need to send an email, the integration is there, right, with Gmail. If I need to send a message on Telegram, so as you can see here, the integration is already there, right? If I need to create a webhook, right, to integrate with any new system, that's also available. So that's the beauty of this system, right, wherein everything is visual. A lot of these integrations are already there, and you could basically use it. Again, you have an option of creating agent nodes, and one agent node could run on, say, suppose, possibly on one of the other LLM models, and maybe for doing maybe another agent which is involved for doing something else would be on another LLM model. So in this case, if you see here, the first AI agent is using GPT-4, but the other agent which is for sentiment analysis, it is using Llama, right? So again, what to use, right, as a pre-trained LLM is something which is completely configurable, right, depending upon what your scenario is. So all in all, right, this framework is such that you can do a lot of things, right, out of box. Everything is visual, as I'm showing you by skipping through some of the portions, right, in interest of time. But if you watch this whole video, right, of 50 minutes, you will see the whole process in a way, right, how I can create code nodes, I can create agent nodes, right, and maybe create the whole framework in a way, right, that I could carry out certain actions, right, in a specific sequence. As an example, in this case, right, he's showing if I need to generate a weather report. So if I need a weather report coming in every 24 hours to me, without me needing to go and look for report on my own. So the agentic AI framework could be used for developing that agent within fraction of minutes or fraction of seconds, right? And maybe get that process completely automated. So again, there is no need of understanding coding, but there are options available if you need to write code and maybe do custom coding in such frameworks. So that's the beauty of it. Okay, so this is about N8N. So similarly, there is a concept which comes up, right, in terms of agentic AI framework called as MCP, right? So anyone who has interest, right, and they want to create their own agentic AI frameworks, right, or maybe consume any agentic AI frameworks which are out there. And if they want maybe to build AI systems which should connect with other AI systems outside, that's where we are having a new protocol come into picture. It's called as MCP. So I told you early on, right, that API is going to be dead. So instead of API, which is kind of a protocol to do data exchange between different systems, now we'll have a new protocol called as MCP, which is called as Model Context Protocol, right, which is a universal open standard, right, wherein we can have many data sources connected to AI systems directly. So here is a video, right, wherein you could basically see, right, how MCP works, how I can use or consume an NCP server, right, for basically for building my AI agents which are out there. So a lot of resources on the slide. So I know I'm just coming towards end. There are about 6-7 minutes remaining, right? So I want to be mindful of that. So I've given you some examples, but there are many more examples of agentic AI frameworks, right? But I wanted to give you only some examples. So idea here was how I can create maybe AI agents without coding, or maybe if I need to do coding, right, I should give you a couple of examples, right, how I can do that. And more importantly, in a way, look at how I can create these agentic AI solutions, right, wherein I could basically create AI agents, right, which could have their own memory, and they could basically remember a lot of things, right, and maybe help you do anything which is better. So this is going to be something which is going to be contextually very important if I'm developing a healthcare agent, right, wherein as a patient, my complete patient history would be available to this AI agent. And depending upon that, right, if I'm wearing, say, suppose some kind of a smart device or a smart watch, and if it sees some risk or parameter through that sensor, right, okay, my heart rate is something, right, which is not in line with what it should be. So automatically certain action could be triggered, and maybe an ambulance could come to me, right, within few minutes, right, instead of me calling one. And this is something which is going to be becoming more prevalent. But I'm going to be talking about more such scenario in tomorrow's session, wherein I'll tell you, right, how some of these systems are being developed, and how, more importantly, these systems are helping us become healthy, right, and maybe uh, take preventive measures so that, I mean, if I tell you that you'll know that, okay, you'll be falling ill with, say, suppose a flu, or maybe any kind of ailment 3 days down the line. And if you know that today, right, you can take preventive measures so that you could not fall ill, or maybe you build your body immunity in a way, right, that you never become a victim of any specific type of disease, right, which could be maybe a life-threatening disease or something like that. So that's where the systems are being developed, and I'm going to be talking about some of that when I do my session tomorrow. But one thing which I said at the start of my session is, if you look at the technology trends, we need to also look at how we should be building some of these systems more responsibly, and that's where AI governance, responsible AI, and AI ethics is very important. And for that, there is one framework. It is called as AI Risk Management Framework, which is developed by NIST, and it has basically given a lot of guardrails in terms of what we should be doing, right, so that we can minimize the AI risk, right, potential AI risks, and they should not be impacting us. So I highly recommend all of you to read this. And whenever you are developing any new AI system, make sure your solution is following the risk management framework as outlined by NIST, so that we are basically developing our solutions more responsibly with proper AI governance in place. So I'm also part of an organization called as Global AI Hub, which is headquartered in Europe. And they have many courses, right, which could help you become better in AI. So a lot of these courses, if taken outside, could cost you $300, $400, $500, right? But they are providing this for free, right? So some of you could go and check Global AI Hub, right? And maybe take these courses, and that's going to be beneficial for you as well. So I'm just trying to summarize before I go into the questions which might have come from the audience. So I always say, ride the train, don't jump in front of it. So we are already seeing how technology and AI is impacting all of us. So that's where it becomes very important that we all learn the skills, right? Wherein we become better, right? In terms of these AI skills and use these AI skills to solve real world problems. And more importantly, uh, some of the imminent problems is related to our healthcare systems, right? Or medical systems. And that's where a lot of companies are doing research and maybe coming up with solutions which were early on not possible. So what those solutions are and how innovation is happening using AI and how we are building some of the healthcare systems. I'm going to be talking about that in my session tomorrow. So like it or not, right? AI is being used to make decision about our life. I'm going to be showing you, right, how that's happening without your consent or without you liking it or not, right? And that's where it becomes very important, right? That we develop some of these solutions responsibly. If we don't do that, we all will be victims of such systems, right? And it could cause possibly more harm than causing us good, right? Which is what we focus on. There's some past articles which I've written on the similar topics. So those links are also here. I've also shared certain references. If you see the first reference, generally I come across many people who are doing research is they are not able to find maybe right data set for their problems. So in a way, this first link, right, of AI Kosh, so you basically get all the government data and maybe the data what they have sourced from India specific scenarios available there. So that's going to be very valuable for you, right, if you're trying to solve or maybe create a agentic AI or AI solution per se, right? And it has all the data what you need. Again, there's some links which are more towards developing responsible AI solutions, right? And maybe explaining the concept of responsible AI, right? So this is something again which is very, very critical, right? As we build some of the agentic AI as well as AI solutions. So I highly recommend you to take the courses, right, and be ready for that. So with that, right, I'm just coming to the top of the hour. I was given 1.5 hours, right? Out of that, some time was utilized, right, to do the presentation. And maybe thought process was to cover as much as I could, right, so that it is beneficial for the audience from the perspective of smart intelligence systems which are being developed, especially today using agentic AI frameworks. So I'll go back to the chat and see if there are any questions. I'll request the moderator to see if there are any questions, right? Maybe I can answer those, right, on the behalf of the maybe Anjuman College. Okay, anyone from the Anjuman College?
Yes, sir. This question from Professor Syed Rehan, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
uh, how computers differ from other business process management tools?
No, very good question, Rehan sir. This is a very good question, I must say, right? So there are many business process management tools which are available. And in a way, there is a category of BPMN tools, right? And Camunda is one of them. So the major difference between Camunda and other BPMN tools is how you can basically create these agentic workflows and maybe get the automation done more easily, which other BPMN solutions don't have at a level what they have provided maturity with. And I have seen examples in almost all industries, be it be healthcare, banks, right? Or maybe, as I said, supply chain where we have used these solutions, right? Or maybe fintech industry, wherein the Camunda as a solution was used to maybe build agentic workflows, right? Wherein you could bring in automation, which was not easily possible using the other BPMN solutions which were out there. So I'm sure you can check the difference when you go to the Camunda website, right? The link which I've shared, you'll see the other differences as well. Any more questions, sir?
Dr. Bilal Ahmed, sir, is asking, can I create an AI agent to write a review paper for me? If yes, will it be ethical?
See, that's where I said, right? Maybe building any AI solution, right? It's a double-edged sword, right? So in a way, we need to always make sure, right, we are following AI ethics, right? Or maybe making good use of AI, right? Responsible use of AI. So maybe this is a very subjective question. Some people may interfere, maybe this question in a different way, or maybe they may have a different perspective in terms of answer. My simple answer is AI systems or intelligent systems have been created to help humans. So we started with, say, automated intelligence, assisted intelligence, and then autonomous intelligence, wherein we wanted these AI systems to do everything on our behalf. So if your intent is good, right, that you want the AI agent to write a review paper for you, right, so that you can use that information, right, and maybe customize it for your research, then that's a good thing. But you should not be using it to just maybe take everything as a copy paste, right, and maybe present it as if it is your work. And I'm telling you, right, as a warning, there's systems available already, right, which can find out if the paper is generated genuinely, or maybe if a AI system was used, right, to maybe generate certain content, right? So we already have such plagiarism detection systems being deployed, right, by many universities. So in summary, what I'm trying to say is try to ethically use the system to help improve, right, what you are trying to do, right, as a researcher. Any more questions?
We have two more questions, sir.
Okay, yes, please go
Dr.
ahead.
Dr. Iram Naushin is asking, sir, which AI agent framework we should start with?
Oh, very good question. So I gave you 3 or 4 examples, right? So maybe if you are new and maybe you want to experiment, build some of these systems, right? So you can start with Na10, as I showcased in the last example, right? Because most of the things are visual in nature. You don't require a lot of technical knowledge. But as you become pro, you can basically do a lot of customization. So that is the first maybe agentic framework you can start with. And even other agentic frameworks from Anthropic and maybe other agentic frameworks which I covered, right, in my session, they're also equally good, right? So you first explore, develop a small prototype, see what you like, and pick up, right, what could be a framework, right, which you want to continue building your skills on.
So the last question of the day, it's asked
Yes.
by Dr. Yusuf Kazi, sir. How we can make mathematical model using agentic AI?
So very pertinent question, Dr. Yusuf sir, right? So in a way, I mean, I'm just trying to apply my explorative brain here, right? So if you look at mathematics, right, there are many problems which are still not solved, right? And as humans, we have limitations, right, in terms of whether we can solve those problems or not, right? As an example, so you must be aware there are many problems which come under NP hard or maybe NP soft, right? And there is no, what should I say, a single solution. And if we need to create a optimization algorithm or optimization model for such problems, it is something in a way, it gives you a varying result, right, every time. So imagine if I'm able to create a mathematical model using agentic AI to solve such problem and maybe get a consistent good result, right? That could solve a lot of things, right, from the optimization perspective. And that's what we are seeing as a trend. So when we use agentic AI in supply chain, we try to solve a lot of optimization problems by building the mathematical model so that we get the best throughput and things like that. Similarly, you can look at maybe many other unsolvable problem, right? And you never know, using power of LLM, right? You could solve some of those problems which were solvable earlier. And I'm seeing a lot of people already doing that, right? In a way, if I'm trying to solve maybe a polynomial equation, I mean, I'm not able to solve it on my own, right? I can have an AI agent tell me how to do that, right? And maybe I can use it to make my or improve my learning. So this AI agent could be a AI tutor for you. So as an example, what we are doing in our case is we have built a platform called as Captize. And this Captize is basically a knowledge management platform wherein we have fed the information for different industries, right? And personalize the model, right, in terms of training the data, right, which is very unique. And if someone is trying to learn something, they can use that model, right, to get the personalized training lessons. And more importantly, you have an AI tutor available to you, which can help you answer certain complex questions, right, early on where humans were required to answer that, or at times they might not also know the answer, but the AI agent is able to answer some of those things for you. So that's where some of these systems are being developed, right? Wherein you provide better assistance as an AI tutor to maybe learn something new, right? So mathematics is something I believe as an AI tutor, a lot of people would find many benefit in that. So I hope that answers your question.
No more questions, sir, in the chat box. So over to you, Sadia ma'am.
It looks like Sadia ma'am is away from the desk. Should we call it a day for everyone?
So
Asubani
actually,
sir?
my mic is not working over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's been a wonderful listening to you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for taking out your time and effort to enlighten us with your session. It was an insightful and wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much. And we look forward to connect with you tomorrow also as we have session with you.
Thank you so much, Sadia ma'am, and thank you to all the audience. You have been really nice, very interactive session. So I really enjoyed it. And I look
Yes.
forward for meeting you all tomorrow. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you once again.